Hello, everyone. It's Tuesday, August the 13th. Thank you for being with us today. I'll start off with something that's surely anything but good in many ways, but we lost Pat Fraggle, and he passed away over the weekend and everything. You know, Pat served in the legislature from 1990 to 2014. His funeral services, will be tomorrow, and we'll be lowering our flags in Charleston and in Harrison County in his honor. Pat was a staple. I mean, many folks knew Pat and knew him very well and everything. I want you to please keep him and his family in all your prayers and everything. A good man that served this state and served this state admirably. So, Pat, thank you for your service, and please, everybody offer up their prayers and their thoughts to this great family. We've got Dr. Sherry Young on with us and everything. She's going to talk about healthy habits competition that we're announcing or launching right now. You know, that's a contest this fall to recognize and encourage schools to improve those healthy habits, and we're also secondarily we're going to talk about a whole blood program and the success of that. And West Virginia is leading our country in emergency medical care by becoming the first state in the nation to implement statewide rules for delivering whole blood transfers on ambulances. Sherry, you can talk about this a million times better than I, but we're really proud of all the great work you're doing. So, Sherry, come on and tell us more.
All right, thank you so much, Governor. And we're so proud to be serving under your administration, bringing these great things to the state of West Virginia. So the first thing, I am proud to announce the new West Virginia Department of Health launching the contest known as West Virginia Healthy Habits School Contest. It's a collaborative effort between the Department of Health and Department of Education and Aetna Better Health of West Virginia. Our primary goal of the contest is to recognize and celebrate elementary schools across the state and who are making remarkable strides in improving health outcomes for their students and their communities. The contest also serves to highlight and honor the schools across West Virginia already leading the way in promoting health and wellness. Many of the schools are already implementing health improvement procedures and initiatives. What we want to do with this program is to highlight those and encourage additional schools to make these strides and empower our youngest West Virginians to be healthy, making decades worth of impact. By participating in the contest, schools not only have the opportunity to showcase their existing programs, but they can use their additional support and resources to further enhance their health initiatives. The contest will officially kick off at the start of school this year, and students will have until November 5th to submit their entries. The award ceremony with the top 3 schools being named will take place in December. The schools are invited to participate by submitting a 2-minute video that highlights the creative approach to promoting health and wellness within their school. They can also provide a written summary with this video and just explaining the things that they are doing to make their schools healthier and their communities healthier. The entry form and video submission link will be made available in late August to coincide with the start of the school year. Here's some of the contest details. So the first prize winner will receive $2,500. The second place winner will get $1,000, and the third place winner will get $500. And that prize money is intended to go to further support health initiatives within the winning schools. With that, they can purchase new sports equipment or enhance their playground facilities, as long as they are investing it back into the kids who are doing the great work. The judging will be conducted by a panel made up of representatives from the Department of Health, Department of Education, as well as Aetna Better Health of West Virginia. For additional information and to enter the contest, the schools and interested parties are encouraged to go to West Virginia or wvhealthyhabits.wv.gov. And we encourage everybody, we encourage all of our grade school participants to submit their entries. We look forward to seeing all the great videos coming forward. Governor, we also have another initiative we want to talk about today, a little bit more somber, but the investments that you have made in our EMS community, we cannot thank you enough. From everything from the call, answer the call initiatives and the other things that we have done with EMS. We are proud to be the first state in the nation leading the way in providing whole blood on ambulances. So since November of 2023, Cabell EMS has been providing this service. And as of March of this year, Harrison County is also providing whole blood on ambulances. This is providing essential care for trauma patients and other emergencies that otherwise may not have made it to the hospital to receive care. And so it's absolutely life-changing and life-saving by quickly restoring the blood volume and enhancing the clotting function. So we encourage others to get involved. We can learn more about the program at West Virginia OEMS, but we encourage people to be heroes themselves. While our EMS community are heroes on the street every day helping people at their worst time, people can become heroes themselves by donating the blood that we need to help get to these individuals. And they can do that by going to the Red Cross Blood Donor app or redcrossblood.org to look at donating. Thank you so much, Governor. I hope that was the update that you need.
No, Doc, thank you for all you've done and over and over and over. But what an incredible superstar you are, and I'm just really proud to be a real part of it and everything, and just trying to help in every way we can, because at the end of the day, we just make it better. And we've done a lot of stuff together all through COVID and everything else. It's been a real honor working with you. Let me get back on track here just a second. Okay. I've lost my way here. Just stay with me just 1 second. Okay. Today I'm announcing that all these are grants, but here's the neat thing about this. You know, this is the Stop Violence Against Women grant, and it's $1.2 million. It's grant funds to 21 projects across the state. But now just stay with me just a second, because lots of times that basically what you hear is, you know, we're giving away grants, we're doing this and everything, and you really don't really see in many situations the successes that happen with these grants. You know, we have this is a Safety grant, you know, that helps solve sexual assault crimes. And think about this. We just learned about a 24-year-old crime in West Virginia that was solved thanks to this Sexual Assault Kit Initiative, also known as the Safety grants. You know, so with all that being said, here you have real live information. You know, this grant paid for testing and services to link, you know, this guy, you know, that has been living in Montana for the last few years and everything. And with all that being said, a crime that was horrible, but has been solved by the great work of one of these grants. And so with all that being said, I am tickled to death to announce this $1.2 million for 21 projects throughout the state. It just makes us better. That's all there is to it. It just makes us better. The Division of Corrections is partnering with the University of Charleston. Now, this is neat too, you know, but I'm thrilled to announce a new partnership between the Department of Corrections and the University of Charleston. Basically, what they're doing is, you know, the programs that we've been already initiate, or the initiatives that we've already done, whether they be, you know, better pay, better benefits, you know, but now the University of Charleston is offering up 15 free credit hours, basically, you know, that to encourage, you know, that our Department of Correction employees, you know, in law enforcement can enroll in classes, further their education, further their ability to get even better jobs and everything. This is an initiative that classes will begin on August the 18th. And, if you have an interest, please apply and everything. All this just makes you more in need and more desired from the standpoint of your employment all over the place. It makes you better qualified. And with all that being said, I am one that believes this with all my soul. If you work for me and you had a better offer or a better alternative to move on in your life, I'm tickled to death. I'm absolutely the guy that is happy with stuff like that. I have run businesses forever, but I will promise you, if you look forward to goodness for your employees in every way, it makes everybody better. So with all that being said, I truly, let me get my phone here just one second, sorry. But I truly, from the bottom of my heart, believe with all in me that it makes us all better. Absolutely, the selfishness that some people may have, oh no, I want to keep everybody right under my thumb because they're doing great stuff for me, it's selfish and everything. At the end of the day, we want people to continue to do better in every way. And so this is just great stuff. Thanks to the University of Charleston, good idea and everything. Really will help our corrections folks. Take advantage. This is about our DMV, and the digital titling that they've got in place and everything. First in the nation again, West Virginia. Great work out of our DMV. First state to be able to digitally title vehicles and everything. The greatest example of all this is, now we're going out and we're continuing to market all across the nation because, we could very well take Enterprise, for instance. Enterprise titles their vehicles here. They license they have a license plate from West Virginia here. Everybody's seeing it. It is a billboard for West Virginia. Not only does it really help us bring in millions of dollars and everything to West Virginia, it's just great work. Great work from our D&B. Okay, now this is really switching channels, but I want to bring you up to date on the early firearm bear season. Let me tell you this, you know that I love to hunt and fish, and with all in me, I know a lot about wildlife and been involved in that forevermore. Our bear population in West Virginia is exploding to the upside and everything. And I'm not sure of all the particulars and everything on how that's all come about, but our bear population is very, very healthy. And this is an announcement that we're going to have an early firearm bear season in West Virginia. There's two different early seasons. One opens on August the 31st to September the 8th in Logan, McDowell, Mingo, and Wyoming counties. The second season opens on October 5th through the 11th, and it's in Boone, Fayette, Kanawha, Nicholas, and Raleigh counties. So good stuff. I encourage you to get out in the woods and absolutely see all this beautiful, beautiful nature that God provides to each and every one of us in this unbelievable state. Okay, it's time to get ready to go back to school, everyone. We know that. I know kids have really enjoyed the summer and everything, but I know that they want to get back to their buddies and all that kind of stuff too. I encourage everybody that's been involved in helping with events and school supplies and all kinds of stuff like that. I really I thank them in every way and look forward to getting our kids back in school, and I know they've enjoyed a great summer and still got a little bit of summer left, so we want them to continue to enjoy, but at the same time, we love it when they're back in school. the state of emergency update, you know, in the new grant program. Last week I announced that there's a new there's a new grant program to help the public agencies who are getting, and distributing water to our farmers. You know, we had a really tough go of it, you know, and now that's probably been, 3 weeks to a month ago. And then back on from that, maybe we went through about 6 or 8 weeks of brutal weather if you're a farmer. No rain, absolutely a lot of unbelievable work, you know, as far as feed or taking water to livestock. Crops got just devastated, burned up. Absolutely. If you're a family farmer, you know, I believe you're the backbone of this whole country in every way. Now, we've been in the farming business forever, and I can tell you just this. Our farmers across the land, first and foremost, love what they're doing. They love what they're doing beyond good sense, to tell you the truth. Let me give you a great example. The average size farm in the United States is about 400 acres. Now, a lot of people get all upset and say, well, why should the federal government be giving, benefits to the farmers? And let me tell you this, and I'm going to tell you this real quick, okay? The federal government, if they've ever gotten anything right in the world, they've got it right on the Farm Bill. And the reason they've got it right is just this. They've got people all across this country, average size farm, 400 acres. Now just think about it. You go to the grocery store, as far as you can see, the most abundant food supply on the planet. You pay 14% of your annual incomes, maybe a little bit more now with this crazy Biden inflation, but still, what you pay in a percentage of your annual income versus many countries across the land and everything, on a percentage basis, if you're paying 14 or you're paying 16, most of the countries across this land are paying 35% of their annual incomes towards food. Now, with all that being said, right behind that, you have the abundance beyond belief. And why do you have all that? Why do you have all that is these unbelievable farmers that are a machine like you can't fathom. Their productivity in the lands of this great country is off the chart. Their contribution to our exports, off the chart. With all that being said, now just stay with me. The federal government just throws them a bone every now and then. And why do they throw them a bone? Because they got to keep them on the farm. They got to keep them there working. Most of those people, now think about this a second. If you're in Iowa City, Iowa, if I can use that as an example, or maybe many parts of the Eastern Panhandle, if I can use that as an example, your land may be worth, pick a number, make it real simple. In Iowa City, Iowa, it's probably $10,000 an acre. Now, let's just stay with that to make it real simple. If you're a 400-acre farmer, your net worth is $4 million. Now, you could tomorrow, if you had that $4 million invested in a money market fund or whatever it may be and get a 5% return on your money, $200,000 a year. In many cases, in many cases, you've got somebody that's driving a 12-year-old pickup truck and they're making $28,000 a year, and they're the biggest and best machine on the planet to be able to absolutely produce more and do more as far as all the productivity, all the different things that they do. It's amazing. Totally amazing. They're making $28,000. They're driving a 12-year-old pickup truck. Tomorrow, they could sell their land, put the money in a money market fund, and make $200,000. Our government knows that, and they throw them a bone because they're the best of the best of the best. And absolutely, the opportunity that it provides all of us, go to the grocery store, far as you can see. Far as you can see. Don't ever, ever, ever turn your back on the farmers. What they're doing for this country and for all of us is unbelievable, unflat believable. So always remember them. They do unbelievable work, and they're so unselfish. It's just off the chart. Lottery giveaway. Remember Twin Falls, from the standpoint of that archery hunt and the whitetail frenzy folks down there, and that's all I've got right now. That's it. Thank y'all.
All right, thank you, Governor. We'll now take questions from members of the media. First up today is Mark Curtis with Nexstar Media.
Good morning, Governor and staffers and Dr. Young. I'm hoping Dr. Young is still there because she can address my question. I'm wondering about the larger issue here. I think it's neat you're having this contest, but I think West Virginia is number one in childhood obesity, number one in childhood diabetes, and often we carry these diseases into adulthood. So what is the overall arching goal to try and stem the tide into those two things? And, one of the difficult things with kids is if you try to say, eat this, it's healthy, they look at it and go, oh, yuck, that's going to taste terrible. So there's some convincing to do, I think, in the school lunch programs, whether it's the hot lunch program or the food the kids get to take home, especially over the summer, to make it appealing, to make it healthy, to make it tasty. And again, what's the overall importance of this initiative in this contest, given the high rates of obesity and diabetes in the state? And I'd like you both to address it if you could.
Well, Mark, let me go first. I'll just be real brief and everything, but I always blame a lot of this on video games. Long ago, when I was surely in school, I was as skinny as I could possibly be, and I played all kinds of different sports. That's all we did. All we needed in the daylight was a ball. And at night we'd play kick a can in the alleys and stuff like that. And today it's a different animal. That's all there is to it. Kids and all these video games and everything else under the sun. I wish to goodness that we would expand our bands and all the different things where kids are active, all the different sporting activities. And, there's just so much that we need to be doing, but Dr. Young is doing an amazing job, and I'll pass to her. And we surely want more healthy food. We want it to taste good. We want the other biggest thing is Mark, it's just so sad. It's really sad that you've still got a lot of kids across this beautiful state and everything that, to be perfectly honest, are hungry, and we just. We really need to try to continue to help there. But Dr. Young, please give us more here.
Thank you, Governor, and you're exactly right. And to answer Mark's question, he kind of answered it himself. The fact that we are number one in obesity for children means that we need to act now. It is so imperative that we get the right education and normalize the conversation of healthy fruits and vegetables and fresh produce, and make that part of the conversation and part of the normal everyday health benefits of being a kid. Just like I grew up in Wyoming County, and much like the governor, we played outside all the time. So, this healthy initiative is encouraging kids not only to take the initiative with eating healthier, but encouraging that activity, getting outside and playing. And so with the prize money for them to take to the schools, invest in equipment, invest in whatever programs they have to bring fresh produce back to the kids, that is where we're making that investment. So this is something that is near and dear, I know, to the governor's heart, near and dear to our hearts, and a top priority of the Department of Health. We want to make sure that we are investing in making decades worth of difference. And so this is one small start in making that the norm.
Okay, Doc, thank you.
Okay, Mark, thank you. Next up is Charles Young with WV News.
Hi, this is Charles Young with WV News. Governor, I have a back-to-school question for you. We have several counties in the state that are currently contemplating device ban policies, policies that would restrict student access to cell phones. I was wondering what you thought about those policies as a tool to combat the discipline issues that we've been talking about over the last couple of years, and what would you think about a statewide version of this? Thank you.
Charles, we are, discussing, we are talking. At the end of the day, those are local decisions. I'm always fired up about giving people local control. I think that's good in lots of ways, but the discussion needs to continue because there could be some real benefits, and so I think we're still in our infancy, and we're going to have to surely walk before we run and try to figure this out. But I love it that people are working it, and I love the fact that there could be local control that would maybe give us more insight. So I look forward to continuing the discussions. That's for sure.
All right, thank you, Charles. Next up is Amelia Nicely with West Virginia Watch.
Hi, Governor. I hope you're having a good day. I want to ask you about childcare. I've been told by lawmakers and lobbyists that the Department of Human Services needs around probably $30 million to continue providing its childcare subsidy as we're switching to enrollment versus attendance-based subsidy. And they're going to need additional allocation for this money, or they would have to remove some of the kids from the program. I reached out to the Department of Human Services last week and still haven't heard a response. So I just wondered if you're aware of this shortfall and if you've discussed this with DOHS leaders.
Amelia, listen, I don't know how to be more blunt about this, but I sent up in my State of the State address, it had in it a tax credit basically for child care for our working families. It was minuscule in the whole deal. To be perfectly honest, you've got lobbyists running all over this, the Capitol and everything all the time, and there's issues there. But at the end of the day, we need to do this. And when we come back into special session, and we haven't gotten that exactly worked out, but we need to address the child care issue because West Virginia needs young families. I mean, come on. Even the Trump-Vance ticket is advocating for 150%, basically, of the current rate, which, in order to be able to increase our federal child care, federal child care tax credit, so it's a problem. It is a real problem. And the worst of it all is, and Amelia, you know this, but I don't know why we keep just putting our head in the sand about this, because, when you've got young families working like crazy, almost, maybe both of the folks are working in the family, and one of them is almost working entirely to be able to pay the child care. It's expensive. The access is not as good as it should be in West Virginia. We need to make it more available, and we need to try to address bringing down the cost. And absolutely one way we can do this for sure is give these people a tax break. And so I just don't know what we're waiting on, but we're gonna fight for it as hard as we possibly can, and hopefully the legislature will see the wisdom to go along.
All right, thank you, Amelia. Next up, Stephen Adams with Ogden News.
Yeah, Steve Adams of Ogden Newspapers here. I have a main question, but kind of throw back to Amelia's question. Whether the legislature deals with that child care tax break subsidy or not, that doesn't solve the immediate problem at the end of August, which is this between $23 million and $30 million shortfall, which DOHS could actually do something about today if they would transfer money over. So there's a difference between what you're asking, which would require the legislature, and what your department could do today. on that funding. So why don't you direct the department to deal with that actual shortfall, which is going to happen in August? And then the other question I have in regards to the Greenbrier issue, and I'll keep this short, but you keep saying it's a political issue. What's your evidence behind saying it's a political issue? For example, JP Morgan Chase CEO Jamie Dimon is being considered by President Trump, former President Trump, for a cabinet level position in the U.S. Department of Treasury if he wins in November. So where's the political part of this? Do you have any evidence of that? Thank you.
Stephen, let's go back to the first part of your question and everything. I'll try to answer them both. But from the standpoint of, I'm very, very concerned that lobbyists are driving this whole boat. And we talk to the legislature about the budget all the time. From the standpoint of the other dollars, I would be an advocate. This doesn't happen because we're in a vacuum. There's still continued work that we need to do along those lines and everything, and we'll be absolutely sure that it is being addressed and it is being spent in the right way, and we're going to in regard to the ongoing issue, we'll get to the bottom of it. We'll get to the bottom of it, immediately. So I would just stay tuned and let us handle that. But keep in mind, lobbyists drive things here an awful lot. I think that's a big part of the problem. And the other situation is just this: is we need to get the child care credit passed. That's one thing. You're exactly right. But we need to do the other as well. So let us get to that. And as far as the Greenbrier and the political side of this whole thing, all I would say is just this, Stephen. Let's just be fair again, okay? We had a facility with JP Morgan that was $200 million. And through time, we paid it all the way down to $9.4 million. Now, that's what happened. That's absolutely it and everything. And that's where we stand. We had an agreement with JP Morgan that we pay them $9.4 million that we were paying on, and everybody just happy as they could be. $9.4 million, we were done. That was the agreement that we had in place with JP Morgan. Now, you tell me. For crying out loud, we had a 15-year relationship, 15 years. Why? Where did it come from? Why in the world? What in the world happened? We were never notified. Carter Bank was never asked about their position. In all honesty, why wouldn't you have asked Carter Bank? If you wanted to sell the note or sell the $9.4 million obligation, why wouldn't you have asked Carter Bank? And I'll bet my life on this that it was sold for significantly less than $9.4 million. How does that make any sense? How does it make one bit of sense in the world? Now, I know all this is complicated stuff, but at the end of the day, it has to be driven by something. It has to be driven by something. With all that being said, I truly do believe that it is a political play. Everybody in the world that I talk to says the same thing. It is a political play, that absolutely here, I'm running for the U.S. Senate. And in all honesty, Stephen, with all that, it carries a terrific burden. I truly believe with all in me, if I'm not running for the U.S. Senate, you'd have never heard about this. You'd have never heard about this in 10 million years, and we'd have just continued to do exactly what we're doing with JP Morgan, and everybody would have been happy in the neighborhood. Now I'm running for the U.S. Senate, and I could be the very vote to flip the whole U.S. Senate. Now, I could tell you, Stephen, and the last thing I'd say is just this. When I walked in the door, this state was in tough shape. and you know we're doing awful dadgum good right now. And you know that I've loved everyone, and I've had big tears with everyone, and I've prayed with everyone. You know, I've tried to do the right thing every day. I've not taken a single thing. No salary. I've driven over 1 million miles. There's no payment for mileage. There's no insurance. There's no insurance costs. There's no nothing. You know, Stephen, at the end of the day, you don't see pet projects from me. You've never seen that. You've seen somebody who stood up for West Virginia in every single way I can stand up. And I've told you the truth. I'm telling you the truth about this situation right here, and it's a crying, pitiful shame. It is a crying shame that today, when somebody steps up and they're going to try to be a political candidate, they become a target like nobody's business. It's a constant feeding frenzy. But with all that being said, you know, I love what President Trump's doing, and I'll stand arm in arm with him any day. With all that being said, at the end of the day, I can just tell you that I believe with all my soul all this will get worked out. But if you believe this is not a political play, I think you're crazy. There is no other reason. There's no other reason, you know, and all I would do is just sit back, and when it's all resolved and everything, you know, if in fact it is resolved, and I do believe that it will be, you know, once it's all resolved and everything, I hope to goodness that you'll report that we had everybody all up in arms, and we just kept pumping things, and you know, if you're a sporting club member or you're somebody in the community, you know, that loves the Greenbrier or whatever like that, all we do is just make people more and more and more anxious, and you know, I'm not one that's looking for headlines. I just, you know, but at the same time, you know, if we don't watch out, we make people awfully anxious, and we cause a lot of pain. And at the end of the day, like I said, if this is not a political move, what could it be? I mean, what in the world could it be? I mean, in all honesty, everything was just great in the neighborhood. Honestly, can you just imagine? You had a $200 million facility, and you paid and paid and paid and paid every year, every month probably, on and on and on, all the way down to where the agreed upon amount for the payout was $9.4 million. And payments were made in June, significant payments, you know. And then with all that being said, out of the clear blue nowhere, nobody told, nobody nothing. You know, it's not good. It's not good for Carter Bank. It's not good for Jim Justice, but it's way, way, way not good for, you know, the business of the Greenbrier, the people of the Greenbrier, and all the great work they do all the time.
All right, Stephen, thank you. Next up is Kenny Bass with WCHS TV, Fox 11.
Hi, Governor. Thanks for taking the question. Since you've already addressed the financial aspects of what's been going on, I do want to ask about an event going on this week at the Greenbrier. The Live Golf Tournament is back. Last year, a lot of publicity because Bryson DeChambeau had such a great final round, of course, breaking 60. When you have events like this, and not as the owner of the Greenbrier, but as the governor of West Virginia, can you just briefly touch on how they elevate the state or keep the state in the nation's eye? And these types of events seem to have a pretty positive impact.
Well, Kenny, you know, there's no question whatsoever about the positive impacts. And good gracious, you know, I almost think, you know, why in the world am I doing this? I mean, really and truly, at the end of the day, it's, you know, you're constantly going through pause and like, well, what in the world am I doing? And why am I doing this? I mean, you know, when we announced that the Live tournament was coming and the greatest golfers of all time, when we announced that and everything, that we had them and we had them in place and everything, in all honesty, we had people basically, you know, criticizing from the media standpoint and everything. Says, well, you know, lives bad, and everything else, and blah 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 blah. You know, Saudi Arabia lives bad and everything else under the sun. Well, and now, you know, that seems to have passed, and West Virginia has gotten a lot of recognition, and they're now getting a bunch more recognition. And at the end of the day, I do believe that it'll be tough to hang on to this tournament and everything from the standpoint of just the simple fact that you know, they want to move to bigger cities and everything, and White Sulphur Springs and West Virginia is probably not the big city that they're looking for, but we're really blessed to have had them a couple years, and I hope we can continue, but it'll be tough to hang on to them. You know, Kenny, I'd like to add just one other thing, and that's just this, is when we had the Greenbrier Classic or the tribute to the military and everything at the Greenbrier and the PGA Tour there, you know, Kenny, what was the net result of that? The net result of that was it cost me and our family, I think, in excess of $110 million. I brought it to West Virginia. And I brought it to West Virginia because of all the goodness, not only that we have in this unbelievable state. I thought it would surely help the Greenbrier, but with all that, you know, on top of all that, I knew it would really do good stuff for West Virginia. It's a big price tag. I mean, a great big blow. Along the way, you know, when I decided I was going to run for governor, the state of West Virginia had a sponsorship there, $1,750,000 a year sponsorship, and I absolutely refused to take it. You know, that's all there is to it. I just said, nope, I'm not going to do it. Just like I've done on every single thing that I've turned to here. Without any question, it is absolutely wonderful for Chelsea Ruby and her group to be able to do a lot of great marketing about West Virginia with the LIV tournament here or the PGA tournament here or the New Orleans Saints or whatever it may be. You know, I mean, just think about the things, whether it be NBA teams, you know, it'd be the Cleveland Browns, the Denver Broncos, all the different, you know, Tom Brady and the New England Patriots, and on and on and on. Every single bit of that makes us better in West Virginia. I mean, do you really think that tourism has exploded in West Virginia and done what it's done just because we just showed up and we just rolled off the pickle truck? We didn't do that. We didn't do that. We worked it. We worked it in a very diligent way and everything, and lo and behold, the results are absolutely right in front of us. I mean, literally, tourism is exploding in West Virginia because we brought people to this great state, and they got to see just how great this state is. And we've done it, whether it be the folks on the rivers or the folks at Snowshoe or the folks wherever, Timberline, all the different places all across this state, Harper's Ferry, the crafts, all the different things. We have absolutely brought people to West Virginia, and they've seen absolutely how great this incredible state is, and lots of good things are coming out of it.
Okay, thank you, Kenny. Next up is Beth Sargent with the Gazette-Mail.
Hey, Governor. Hey, sorry I missed some of the beginning of the briefing, so I apologize if my question is repetitive. As you can see, I'm here at Twindley State Park, who's getting a new swing for the 250th anniversary of the Battle of Point Pleasant. But anyway, so I am on the road, so I do apologize if I missed the question. My question is about the special session. You know, since earlier this summer at the revenue event, you said you're going to call one. I was wondering, why has that not happened yet? And is there, as of today, a specific impediment or many impediments to that happening? Thank you, sir.
Oh, Beth, I'd say it's surely not, you know, a shortcoming on our side. You know, it's just tough to get, it's just tough to get everybody to agree, you know, when they're not going to be on vacation, you know, when, you know, I mean, through the summer, it's been really, really tough to get everybody kind of corralled up, you know, a little bit of, you know, herding cats and trying to figure out what to do. But we've got plenty of time, and, you know, but, you know, we just gotta get it done and get everybody together and everything. We'll get it done, but it's just been tough. It's always tough in the summer to get everybody dialed in and to get everybody together.
Thank you, Beth. Next up is Curtis Johnson with WSAZ.
Good afternoon, Governor. Thanks for taking my question. We are hearing of major changes to the SSAC Quad A classification system, potentially moving several schools to lower classifications. There was already skepticism about the state's move to a Quad A system back in December. I asked you then about the changes, and you said you trusted the SSAC. Now we're hearing a review board see things differently. It's been several months, and football season is right around the corner. You're a coach. Do you still trust the SSAC new classifications? And a side question, we are hearing the changes from the ruling and moving some schools to a lower class may only apply to football. Should that ruling apply to all sports? Soccer and cheerleading come to mind.
Well, Curtis, I do trust the SSAC. You know, to be perfectly honest, you know, there's lots and lots of integral parts of stuff that Curtis doesn't know and that I don't know that they deal with all the time. You know, if you were to ask, you know, a coach and you were to ask somebody that's been involved in athletics for a long time, are you happy with this and everything? I'd probably say no. You know, from the standpoint of other sports other than football, I know, you know, our girls basketball team, you know, and I think as well as football and boys and whatever, you know, we have moved down a classification from Quad A to Triple A. I didn't like that. I don't like that, you know, and you know, I know there's great teams in AAA as well as in Quad A, but with all that being said, you know, I didn't like that, and you know, and I think they're trying to, you know, as best they possibly can, you know, to get it right, but you know, I think the county superintendents, you know, are always actively involved with the leadership of the SSAC, and so you know, I entrust that the SSAC, you know, as far as I'm concerned, they always seem to get it right, and you know, there's surely argumentative things, just like my opinion, and you know, that I just said, you know, from the standpoint of the basketball team that I coach. I didn't like the fact that we're going to move down a class, and it's all due to enrollment and all that. I get all that, but it's still, you know, I didn't like it.
Okay, Governor. Curtis, thank you. Back to you, Governor.
Okay, let me just look really quick here. Pat Fragel, and you know, just in the family, and I hope I'm pronouncing Pat's last name correctly and everything, but again, you know, here was a loyal servant for 24 years in the state of West Virginia. Please remember him. Please remember that family in your prayers. And let me just look real quick and see if there's anything that I'd like to go over again. But you know, I just say to all the great kids of the state of West Virginia and everything, you know, I know that I know you'd like to have summer all the time, but at the same time, summer would get really boring. And there's lots and lots and lots of excitement to be back with your buddies in school and the learning process. And we want to make you better and better educated And I've got to stop just a second and thank our teachers and thank, all of our service personnel, our cooks and bus drivers and everything, because what you do in looking out for our kids and teaching our kids is amazing in my book. I got to say this last thing. I've said it so many times, it's unbelievable, but all you got to do, if you're one that hadn't been in a school in a long time, go and talk to the kids in the classes and absolutely talk to the teachers. And what you'll find is this as sure as I know my name. You'll find that the kids love their teachers. And you'll find that the teachers love their kids. And you'll find in the community that the community loves its school. And so with all that being said, sure, we can get better. And we can do better and better and better. And we try all the time to make it better. But if the kids love the teacher, and the teacher loves the kids, and absolutely the community loves its school, we got a bunch of good stuff going on in our communities and in our schools. Don't you forget that. And really and truly, I just pause just a second to thank Kathy for all the great work that Communities in Schools is doing, and now the therapy dogs and on and on and on. But there's lots of people doing great stuff in our schools. And there's lots and lots and lots of really great kids. And I've yet in my life to see one kid, that absolutely would sit there and say, I wanted to be a lawyer, or I wanted to be a doctor, or I wanted to be, a great welder, or whatever it may be. And I didn't ever have a chance because I was held back and everything, and the school's no good and all that kind of stuff. I'm telling you, if you really want it and you want to want it bad enough and everything, there's absolutely great future and great abilities within our schools right now. So let's just, we've made a lot of improvements in the last few years and everything, and got rid of that crazy A through F grading system and on and on and on. But lots and lots of good stuff going on in our schools in my book. So teachers, service personnel, all you folks that are making it happen every day, and students, enjoy going back to school, and thank you for all you do.